World News. I'm Camille Hanna.
And I'm Lennon Mangum. Today we are going to talk about Iranian oppression in the United States.
After 9/11, normalcy for all Iranians living in America changed. They were suddenly faced with hatred and discrimination. As found on Interpersona, anti-Iranian sentiment refers to feelings and expression of hostility, hatred, and prejudice directed toward Iran and its culture and toward men and women of Iranian descent.
Hate crimes based on religious bias are an all too common occurrence, especially for men and women practicing Islam. 9/11 sparked an increase in anti-Islamic hate crimes, as shown in the graph above. What is interesting about this graph, however, is that although the number of hate crimes towards Muslim men and women decreased after their alarmingly high rate in 2001, they never returned to their previous low incidence level. This may be because a stereotype was formed after the 9/11 terrorist attack.
That is wild, Lennon. That is just not okay, and we have got to change that. Due to the attack, Iranians, unfortunately and unjustly, have widely been stereotyped as terrorists and other awful things that simply are not true. They are no longer greeted with open arms, as reported, but feel as if they are unwanted guests in the United States. Let's take a moment to analyze a few memes that have been found on the internet.
Great idea. So this meme brings further light and drives home the message that Muslim men and women are no longer welcome in our country.
Very true. It's as if the United States is trying to tell them that we don't trust them. Then here we have another meme, and we are able to see very clearly all of the stereotypes that have been placed on this oppressed group.
All right, so we're going to send it out to Ann Glade, who's out in the field, one of our reporters, for this breaking story.
Thanks, Camille and Lennon. I'm Ann Glade, and I'm out here in Iran. This is what a lot of Americans picture Iran to look like. A place where you ride on magic carpets and street rats get put in prison. But that is not what Iran looks like. This is actually a picture of Iran, and it's pretty industrial with about 82 million people that live there. An article from the Washington Post tells us that Iranians studied in the US for decades. Although there's been a hard relationship between Iran and the US, a lot of people have come here for university education. According to the Department of Homeland Security, more than 12,000 Iranians were in the United States on student visas in November 2016. That's a lot. And back in 1979, there was an Iranian crisis where 66 Americans were taken hostage. And then the U.S. retaliated by deporting a lot of the Iranian students that were here. So there's been difficulties for students from Iran to come over and get an education. And a lot of those have been imposed by the schools themselves. In 2012, there was a law that Iranian nationals seeking an education couldn't get a certification in nuclear or petroleum engineering. And other difficulties that Iranian students have faced are cost. It takes about $3,000 to $5,000 for them to even get the SAT or the things that they need and the visas before even getting a plane ticket. So it's very expensive, and there's a lot of different things that Iranian students have to face. So we need to limit the oppression that's going on for all immigrants around the world. And this is Ann Glade reporting from Iran. Back to you guys.
Wow, Ann, that was insightful. I didn't know any of that.
Very interesting stuff.
Now we're going to send it out to our other news reporter, Raquel Stevens. What do you have to say?
Thanks, guys. As you can see here, I'm at the local university. Racism is never a good thing in schools, and it's always important to prevent it. Teachers have limited knowledge about Iranians, and when they do, they further the hate and oppression that is in schools. One of the most important things that we can do is to educate ourselves and students about cultures and promote understanding. According to tolerance.org, There's a strong correlation between a child's sense of inclusion and academic success. Almost all schools should have an anti-bullying policy. Under Titles 5 and 6 of the Civil Rights Act, quote, "You have the right to be safe from religious harassment and discrimination in schools. This means that school officials cannot make racist remarks, cannot deny you the privilege and opportunities provided to students of other faiths, and must take action against harassment. It is important for us to make sure that these protections are put in place so that students can have a safe environment to learn." This has been Raquel Stevens at Carl News. Back to you guys.
Thank you so much, Raquel. Great stuff.
I agree. As we see, oppression truly is a problem, and it's time to take a stand.
So, from all of us here at Carl News,
C-A-R-L.
A-R-L.
Have a